Hi, this is Liza Graves with Style Blueprint, and I'm here with Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator, thank you so much for taking time today. I know it is a very busy day for you.
Oh, Liza, I appreciate the opportunity to be with you and to be with all of your viewers and listeners.
Thank you. My first question is, I'm a small business owner, as you may know, and small business employs almost 60 million people in America. Owners are seeing their businesses disappear before their eyes, and they are panicked with the jobs being lost and the debt they are now suddenly going to have. Is there anything we can be doing right now except keeping our hopes up that Congress does the right thing?
Well, indeed you can. And yesterday on the floor, Liza, I told a story of a small business owner there in Middle Tennessee who had contacted me, and she said, Marsha, I'm going to throw one of your phrases back at you. And it is saying, something is on my last nerve. And when I was growing up, my mom would tell us, you have gotten on my last nerve. And when she did that, we knew that we had reached the limit. And I've said that time and again about different things in negotiations here in DC. And indeed, this business owner said, I've got children at home. We're going to start homeschooling tomorrow, the video classes. And she said, our business, we don't know what to do. And I'm trying to stay calm. I don't want them to know I'm frightened, but I'm screaming inside. And Liza, it breaks my heart. I think that's where a lot of people are. Now, we thought we had an agreement on Sunday, and we're incredibly disappointed when the Speaker of the House came back to DC and said no, she didn't want that. The agreement includes $350 billion for relief that would go to small businesses. And I worked hard to be sure that we changed the definition of a small business to include sole proprietors, independent contractors, and the self-employed. We've got an awful lot of musicians, independent contractors, women who work on a business license. They are not incorporated, and I wanted to make certain that they had access to those funds. There is also the employment security or universal unemployment system. The unemployment insurance system is called the UI system, is an integrated system between our state and federal governments. Unemployment in Tennessee is about $300 a week, but we're adding $600 to that. And
$600 per week to that?
Correct.
Wow.
And that is something that would give a little bit more of a cushion for our small businesses. There is also money that is in there for some of those that work in healthcare. You've got $75 billion specifically for hospitals. You have a relief fund that is $500 billion that will be there for companies and also for healthcare companies and hospitals. So there is a lot of money that we are putting in this to get out. Now, we also want this to go out quickly. This is why the unemployment insurance, which is a system that's already in place, that will be a quick turnaround. The $1,200 check back to an individual, that is coming through the IRS. People that are paying income tax are going to see that come back to them immediately. Those are systems that are already in place. This will help to facilitate this money moving forward quickly. Just before I came in here, I was listening to an interview the president was giving. He hopes to have the economy turned back around and gearing back up by the time we get to Easter. That would be welcome news to all of us. I have spoken with Mayor Cooper today. He is doing such a good job working through this issue. The Governor Lee and his team are doing a good job. We're doing all we can to stay on top of this issue for Tennesseans.
Wonderful. Senator Blackburn, with everything you just mentioned that had been put together for small businesses in the current legislation.
Right.
What is being currently negotiated are all of those provisions still intact?
It is a moving target. We have to realize that, like I said, these are all things that had bipartisan agreement. And then our friends across the aisle decided they wanted to begin to put some wish list items into it, like dealing with making airlines carbon neutral by the year 2025, and same day voter registration, and electronic voting, and just a host of other things that have absolutely nothing to do with the crisis we have now. And Liza, I really, as I have been talking with Tennesseans, I kind of put this into three buckets. It is healthcare security, food security, and financial security. And what we're trying to do is develop assistance packages that will aid each of these to stand up and stay vertical, and then for business to be able to get back to business as soon as we pass the point that we need to be containing this virus. And of course, there at Vanderbilt, there is phenomenal work that is happening at the Denison lab with the antivirals and with the vaccines. Our scientists over at Oak Ridge jumped into the process, and they took everything we know about coronaviruses. And of course, COVID-19 is one of the family of coronaviruses. They put all of this into Summit, which is the world's fastest supercomputer, which is actually housed there at Oak Ridge. And they came out with 77 pharmaceuticals that had the possibility of being effective against this virus. So everybody has said, let's defeat this. Now, we're very frustrated with the Chinese government and what happened there in Wuhan, and the fact that they kept this information quiet, even though Dr. Lee and several were trying to say, this is a very resilient virus. There is nothing that we have our hands on that is a vaccine or an antiviral that will fight this. So but they would not get that information out. So there should be accountabilities there. But even though we're dealing with that, what we have to focus on is the health, the food, and the financial security of the American people, and for me as your senator, of Tennesseans, and making certain that we are in regular daily communication with all of our elected officials, with those that deliver our critical infrastructure, with those that are working through different components of keeping our economy moving and dealing with these issues in the state.
So with the relief package that is right now being negotiated, how long should we expect this to take to be voted on? Because again, I have about 500 different small business clients that are clients for Style Blueprint, and we are talking with them, and we have businesses that have shut down, but that are going to go out of business this week, and they're holding on every day thinking, well, let me just get to this vote and then I can decide what to do. And it's Tuesday and they're really disheartened right now.
Well, and I joined them in that being disheartened. We tried twice yesterday to have our friends across the aisle allow us just to get on the bill, and they voted against it, and it takes 60 votes in the Senate, and so they wouldn't even vote to get on the bill. And I join all of your clients in being really frustrated and very disappointed in that. And being somebody who comes from a small business background and being married to a small business person, I know exactly what you're talking about with that anxiousness. And indeed, last night I was on the floor speaking, and during the 20 minutes I was waiting to speak, I heard from a real estate company owner who said, what am I supposed to do? I heard from somebody who owns hotels that said, Marsha, where are we on this? We're trying to decide how we get through the rest of the week. And
Right.
I wish that I had every member, all 100 members of the Senate and all 435 members of the House who realize this is the here and now. And this is what has to have our full attention and our action. My hope is that today we're going to see a vote to get on the bill and that there will be agreement to pass this bill. And it ought not to be loaded up with all of this wish list of other things that have nothing to do with securing our economy and putting the relief there, securing health care platforms and getting money to our hospitals and our healthcare workers. And God bless them all for continuing to show up and work double shifts. You know, it's amazing.
Well, I have one last question for you, which is that as I've been trying it's hard to get the information for small business because this is such a large bill and the small business part of it is becoming a very small part of it. So trying to get the information out on how things are changing, where can we, as small business owners across America, but definitely here in Tennessee, find out, not necessarily in real time, but within a day time, what is going on with the small business provisions? Because the media is reporting on this as an overall, and we really are trying to make decisions based on a sliver of that.
Exactly right. And the small business portion of this bill is actually a very large portion. Hang on just a second here. As I said, you've got the $350 billion that is there. You've got $242 billion that goes to state and local governments. You've got $250 billion that is in the unemployment insurance. And then you have the tax rebates of $1,200 for an individual and $2,400 for a family. So specific to you, you've got the $350, the $250, and then the rebates. So those are all components that are there. The best way to keep up to the minute is you can follow me on Facebook, you can follow me on Twitter, you can go to our website, blackburn.senate.gov, and you can follow us there. As soon as we get information, we are posting it. I'm going to the floor and speaking regularly. I am doing videos and we are putting those up because I know it gets to be very confusing listening to the opinions of different journalists on TV. And so we're trying to just give the facts and give the information of how things are happening in this bill.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Keep up your energy. Hope you get your sleep because we need you out there fighting for us. Thank you.
You know what? Our goal is to take care of Tennesseans, and I appreciate you so much. Thanks, Liza.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. Bye-bye.
Bye.